Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to editing a Vivaldi violin concerto every day. I'm doing this to raise awareness of all the musicians of La Serenissima who have lost all their work due to COVID-19. We were supposed to be giving a concert in the Wigmore Hall today of sacred music by Vivaldi for the women of the Pietà. Obviously, that's not happening, but we are looking at some Vivaldi, or I am looking at some Vivaldi. Today's concerto is Concerto in C minor, RV 198. I kind of know, I know RV 198A, but I don't know 198. This is an interesting one. 198A is a very similar concerto that is the 11th concerto of the Opus 9, La Cetra set. This 198 survives in a copy made by Pisendel, Vivaldi's pupil, and it differs in many ways. The first movement is pretty much plain sailing. There's a completely different slow movement, and then the last movement has quite a few little changes. To give you an idea of how this piece sounds, we will go to the beginning. If I can get my cursor to... Right. So there you go. It's a brilliant piece, this. And the number of bottom C strings that he gives to the cellists to play is really sort of adds to the meanness of the C minor, the choice of key of C minor. It's a brilliant piece. The slow movement in this version is rather beautiful. And it will be added to by the grace of my Sibelius software. It's for a solo. It's written as a solo for the violin, and then he writes. Actually, here's the manuscript. So the top part has solo con l'arco, solo with the bow. Then here we have violini e violette pizzicati. So pizzicato, violins and violas, pianissimo, and bassi pizzicati, senza cembalo. So bowed bass instruments, pizzicato, but no harpsichord. It's a very nice movement, as I say, given full marks with Sibelius. Just a bit on the slow side. Anyway, that's about as much as I can take of that. I would like to think that if we actually had the chance of playing this piece, it would sound a bit more beautiful than that. But it is. You just got to trust me, guys. That's a really beautiful movement. The last movement has again he chooses sort of an ostinato kind of technique in the ritornello, very much like he does in the first movement, where he sort of fires salvos between the first and second violins, but also this time with a real kind of groovy, funky ostinato rhythm in the bass and violas. It's sort of typical Vivaldi kind of. Of course, there is the question, is this actually a Vivaldi, a proper Vivaldi concerto, or is this a concerto that Pisendel found a slow movement for and stuck it in the middle instead of the one that Vivaldi wrote? There are plenty of examples of this kind of pastiche concerto, particularly thanks to Mr. Pisendel. For instance, actually yesterday's concerto is a case in point. There's another version of 172 which has a movement by Tessarini in it that Pisendel cobbled together. It seemed to be one of his sort of his little party tricks of I think we've already talked about the Ford Cortina that's made up of 3 different motors illegally. But the thing is, I believe that this is bona fide Vivaldi. One of the reasons being that I think there are so many clues that suggest that this concerto predates the Opus 9 concerto. For instance, one of the things that Vivaldi was so good at doing, having written a piece of music, was then he would then go and edit it. He would prune it to make it really, really work. For instance, this opening, which is a good idea, just goes on a bit long. And in the Opus 9, what he does is he chops 4 bars out, so you get, instead of the opening that you have here, you get this. So you get on with the meat and 2 veg a bit quicker, which is a much better idea. You still get the beautiful, this lovely harmonic sequence here. But then this bit, the sort of coda at the end of the ritornello, if I just, hold on, what do I... right, here's the Opus 9. The coda is completely gone. That's where the coda would be. But the real piece of genius on Vivaldi's behalf is that this phrase here, which in the early version is a standard 4-bar phrase, Vivaldi prunes by 1 bar. So you would effectively have this at the end of the ritornello. That's what he does in the Opus 9. And I think that is a much, much better, much more effective way of concluding the ritornello. I think there are so many differences between the 2 concertos that we're going to spend a bit of tomorrow looking at the Opus 9 one, so we can sort of compare and contrast. So there you go. But for a mark for this one, I think we give it an 8.5. So see you tomorrow. Cheers.